Shri Gurubhyo Namaha children. I welcome you all to our online teaching academy Ekalaiva. This is class 12 biology, and in our last video we discussed about the responses to abiotic factor. Okay, how the organism is responding to the abiotic factor, and under that we have seen about the conformers and regulators. Okay, and at last, okay, when I was completing that I told you, okay, conformers they cannot adapt to the condition, they cannot that is adapt in the sense they cannot maintain their steady internal environment, okay, but how they can overcome the differences in the environmental condition when you see, okay, this is adaptation in animals, okay, how they adapt to the changes provided in that particular habitat. Okay, we will see about those adaptation in animals and how they escape this particular mechanism in this video. Okay, so every animal has adaptation such as sense organs, teeth that enable it to find and use food. Okay, according to the food material available, okay, as the evolution proceeds, there is the adaptation in the types of teeth of animals. Okay, already we have seen that. So, some use a wide variety of foods, others specialized, and features such as camouflage, protective shells enable them to cope up with the changes in the environment. These are few examples how the organisms adapt to the condition. Okay, and we will discuss about some important adaptations in the animals. Okay, and under that we are going to see about migration, hibernation and aestivation, camouflage, mimicry, warning coloration, adaptation of water scarcity in animal and adaptation to cold. Okay. So, we are going to discuss about all these things and how they using all these mechanisms to escape from the changes in their particular habitat. Okay. First, we are going to discuss about migration. So, what is migration? You can see this here. Okay. So, the organisms can move away temporarily from their stressful habitat. So, habitat is a living place of that organism, and in that habitat something is not favorable for them. Okay, maybe it is a temperature, okay, high temperature or low temperature or water scarcity, okay, like that any parameter can affect that particular habitat. So, in that stressful habitat they cannot survive, okay, if they remain in the same place. So, what they will do, no, they will move away from that particular area. Okay, in a group they started moving away from that habitat and they were searching for a more hospitable area, that is a favorable condition. Okay, wherever they find that favorable condition, they live there for that short period of time. Once that favorable condition return to that original habitat, again from here they will move on to their original habitat. This is, we are calling it as migration. Okay, so this is called migration, and this is how animals escape their adverse condition in their habitat. Okay, so what is hibernation? Animal migration is a relatively long distance movement of individuals, usually on a seasonal basis. Okay, seasonal variation sometimes, okay, if the temperature is going very low in winter season, they cannot continue their life in that particular habitat, so that they migrate to some other place. Okay, so in this migration we have two different types of migration, that is immigration and emigration. Okay. So, immigration in the sense inlet from some other habitat, the organisms are moving into this particular habitat, that is inlet of the new population. Okay. Whereas emigration is exit. This particular habitat is not favorable, so they are going out of that habitat to find some new habitat for short period of time. That is called emigration. So, this is how, okay, by using this migration, organisms, animals mostly, they escape from their adverse condition. Okay. The trigger for the migration may be a local climate. What are the factors inducing this migration? And you see the local climate of that particular area, the local availability of food, scarcity in the food, the season of the year, or for mating reasons also. Sometimes the animals will migrate to some other area. Okay. So, this is called migration. And the next one what we are going to see is suspension. So, migration, first one we completed. When the condition is not favorable, they are moving out. Okay. And once the condition becomes favorable, they will come to that original habitat or again. Okay. That is migration. The next one is suspension. What is the meaning of that word suspension? Okay, stopping something. Okay, suspending something. Okay, not doing that normal work, that is suspension. So, here what is that suspension? When you see this suspension, we can observe in bacteria, fungi and lower plants, okay, and various kinds of thick wall spores. Okay, they are formed in these organisms. Some lower plants, fungi, you know, okay, they reproduce by asexually by producing the spores, and some bacteria like bacillus and all, they will produce under unfavorable condition, they will produce spores. Okay. So, these spores are formed which help them to survive under unfavorable condition. Suppose the condition is unfavorable, they are going into a resting stage. Actually, spores are called dormant stage or resting stage, where okay, the organism, okay, the particular young one which is there inside that spore, okay, it is living, but it is suspending its life processes. Okay. So, it is in a resting stage. So, these organisms, they can escape their unfavorable condition by forming a dormant stage called spores. Okay. So, in higher plants, you know that seeds, actually the spores of these lower organisms are equal to the seeds of our plant. Okay. You know seeds, okay, when there is no enough amount of moisture, warmth and all, the seeds are there, okay, the embryo which is present inside the seed, it is alive but it is inactive. Okay. Once the favorable conditions are provided, they will start producing a new plant. They start germinating and it is producing a new plant. So, in a higher plant, seeds and some other vegetative reproductive structures serve the same what is the condition, that is suspension. Condition is not favorable, so they stop their normal life activities, they are going into a resting stage, that is called suspension. Okay. So, they do so by reducing their metabolic activities, I told you no, and going into a state of dormancy. What is the dormancy? A resting stage. So, this is called suspension, the second method, next to migration. Okay. Then the next one is diapers. Diapers, when you see, it is a predictive strategy that is predetermined by an animal genotype. Okay. It is common in insects, allowing them to suspend development between autumn and spring. Diapers is a type of suspension where when the organism is getting unfavorable condition, they suspend their normal life processes. Okay. They are going into a resting state. Okay. Zooplanktons and all, they will undergo this diapers when they are getting that unfavorable condition. So, such as roe deer undulate with embryonic diapers. Embryonic stage itself, it will remain. Okay. It will not undergo further development as the condition is not favorable for the healthy development of that young one. So, this is called diapers, in which a delay in attachment of embryo to the uterine lining ensures that offsprings are born in spring. So, when they give birth to that young ones in spring season, okay, the healthy development will be there. So, that there is a prolonged incubation in the embryonic stage itself. Okay, the implantation is delayed. Okay. So, this is an example for diapers. The normal process is not there. Okay. They suspend that normal process, so they prolong that implantation so that the young ones will be delivered in spring season. Okay. So, this is, we are calling it as diapers, a type of suspension. Then the next one is estivation, commonly we are calling it as a summer sleep or summer dormancy. Okay. So, some animals have ability to remain dormant during unfavorable summer months because the temperature is going beyond the limit. They cannot adapt to that higher temperature. Okay. So, instead of fighting in that higher temperature, what they will do, no, simply they will go for a resting. Okay. So, for even 6 months, okay, continuously without wasting their energy, with the available conserved energy, they continue to survive. Okay, they stop their all the life processes, all their movement. Okay, this kind of escapism we are calling it as a estivation or summer sleep, which is taking place in summer season. Okay, so estivation is shown by some examples. Okay, desert animals and variety of them like a snail, ground squirrel, etc. So this summer sleep is called estivation. The next one what we are going to see is hibernation, which we are calling it as a winter sleep. Winter sleep, the same thing. Okay. In estivation, we have seen that when the temperature is increasing, they are going for a resting stage. Here, when the temperature becomes very low, okay, they will stop all their body movement, all their metabolic activities, and they are moving into a resting stage, which we are calling it as a hibernation, which is a mechanism used by many mammals to reduce energy expenditure and survive food shortage over the winter. Okay. So, hibernation is a time when some animal go to sleep, they sleep all of the way through the winter months together. They will not have any body movement, so no need of so much of energy. With the available energy, they will be in this resting. They will sleep continuously, they will go for sleep. Okay, so this is called hibernation or a winter sleep. Another method which is called cold hardening. Okay, in polar regions and all, okay, the animals, especially the fishes which are there in a very cold water, how they survive, how they overcome that lower temperature. When you see in their body, okay, they will be producing, it is not only aquatic animal, even some terrestrial, that is land animals, okay, like polar bears and all. So, cold hardens the skin of the animals and they release something called as ice nucleating protein. Okay, we can otherwise call this thing as a anti-freezing proteins. Anti-freezing proteins. So, what will happen when this anti-freezing proteins produced in their body fluids, okay, it induces the formation of ice on the external surface of the body. Okay, there will be a formation of ice, okay, and even in the cellular fluids of that animals, that is body fluids. Okay. So, this is how they overcome that very low temperature and they continue to survive. This is, we are calling it as a cold hardening, another method of escapism. And the next one is camouflage, very common condition. Okay, mainly to escape from their predator. Okay, what they will happen? Okay, the organisms, because of their appearance, because of their color, shape, okay, so many things are there, size, shape, color, okay, patterning and behavior. What they will do, no, they will merge with the environment where they are living. That is, we are calling it as camouflage. Okay, so camouflage, any evolved resemblance of organism to its physical background, okay, merge with their background, causing it to be overlooked by potential predators or prey. Okay. So, they escape that unfavorable condition, they escape from their predator by using this method. This is called camouflage. Then mimicry. Okay, you know what is the meaning of mimicry? Some animals will do, okay, by resembling, okay, the behavior resemblance. It can be of a physical resemblance. Physically, they will be looking like that animal, so that the predator will not prefer it as their prey. Okay, and a behavioral resemblance of one species to another. Okay, so it benefits that species itself or in effect sometimes both the species. Okay, as it resembles other species, any one species will get benefit out of that escape from predator, and sometimes what will happen, both the species will escape from their unfavorable condition like a predators and all, by mimicking the color bands and buzzing sound of stinging bees. Okay, so you can see different species of snakes they are, but they are resembling. Okay, the color resemblance, the pattern, the band resemblance are there. Okay, it's this butterfly color. Okay, and by seeing the wings you can see they are different species, but they are resembling each another. Okay, so misconception will be there with the predators. Okay, then warning coloration. Okay, mainly that amphibians like frogs and all, they will use this warning coloration, which we are calling it as a cryptic coloration. Okay, when the predator is coming, they will show some coloration so that the predator will go back, okay, without consuming, without selecting that animal as their prey. So this is, we are calling it as warning coloration. Animals that are toxic to predators or use other chemical defense often possess warning colors. Some animals living in the same habitats with the inedible species sometimes evolve a coloration that mimics the warning coloration of their toxic species. Even here in warning coloration also they have mimicry. A real warning coloration will be there with some other animal, and very few animal what they will do now to escape from that predator, they will be using the same warning coloration, so that the predator will think this second group of animal as their warning animal, so that it will not prefer them as their food. So this is how, by using all these methods, okay, these organisms undergo in the sense they escape from their unfavorable conditions. So this is, we have completed our responses to abiotic conditions or factors. To receive our online lessons, please press subscribe button so that you will receive our latest updates. Thank you, children.